Taking a look at the auction market this week, and there will be 1,324 auctions in New South Wales, with 1,135 in Sydney. In Victoria, there'll be 1,416 auctions. Queensland will have 364 auctions. You can see 186 of those will be in Brisbane. South Australia will have 195 auctions. WA, 20 auctions. Tasmania, 3. And the ACT will hold 95 auctions. But looking at the most viewed auctions this week, and at 38 Irrabul Road, Newport in New South Wales, a lovely family home pretty close to the beach, a 3-bedroom house, 2-storey, on 800 squares, you can see there. Now, over in Victoria, we have 45 Hill Street, Hawthorn. It's a 4-bedroom house backing onto a reserve. It's got period charm and has arched entranceways leading into generous rooms. A price guide of $1.65 to $1.8 million. Over in Queensland, at 2,511 Crestbrook Drive in Hope Island, a 5-bedroom, 4-bathroom house, a private gated estate. It's waterfront with its own private jetty, infinity pool and a north-facing view of the river. In South Australia, we have 37 Hall Street, Semaphore, which is a 3-bedroom house, has a coastal strip just 200 metres away, ready to be renovated, has no price guide but will be auctioned as a deceased estate. And finally, over in WA at 10 Barker Drive, Duncraig, a 5-bedroom house on almost 700 squares with 5-metre high ceilings. It's on an elevated block with treetop views and lush lawns for entertainment. But here's the top listing of the week over in South Australia at 11 Carthew Road, Scott Creek, a 3-bedroom property on almost 10 acres. It's got large windows that frame views of the native bushland, has a huge living space, high ceilings, giving it this really grand feel. Outside, a huge pool and spa, multiple paths to meander around the property. And if you want it, you have to put your best offer forward by the 26th of November. And for more on the property market, I spoke with Paul Ryan from REA a short time ago.
We saw our new listings in October were up 14% on a year ago, and a year ago was a really strong set of numbers. And there's more new listings this October than last October in every single market across the country except Darwin. So yeah, it's not just your market, it's everywhere.
Why do you think this is?
I think we've had an enormous amount of market stability over the past year. We haven't seen interest rates rise this calendar year. We've got a lot of people that have started to realise how much equity has increased on their property, and that's fueling a lot of upgrade activity.
So is this something that is, I guess, normal for this time of the year? Like, we're just kind of getting to the end of spring, which is obviously a big selling season. Is this normal for this time of the year?
So the pickup in activity is normal. We tend to see the biggest amount of market activity in November compared with the rest of the year. But this year is exceptionally strong, and it's exceptionally strong everywhere. Melbourne and Sydney in particular have seen this big pickup in new listings activity. But yeah, it's been broad-based. We're just seeing more available stock too. I mean, we've got total stock now is up 6.5% over the past year. But Sydney and Melbourne, for instance, we haven't seen this amount of stock on the market since late 2012.
Okay, so looking at Economics 101, you'd think this would mean a fall in prices, but are we seeing that?
We're seeing price growth slow. So we've seen prices fall across Melbourne, but only very slightly. Sydney price growth, has slowed down. Still seeing prices inch upwards. So this is typically what we see. We see this big increase in activity in the spring selling season, but enough buyers to match that. So it has this reinforcing cycle that sellers get good prices in spring, so more sellers keep selling their homes in spring.
All right, let's talk some of the economic data we've seen this week. We've had quite a bit actually, but labour force and unemployment numbers pretty flat, but all round looking quite good.
Yeah, the economy is still humming away. The labour market in particular, that's the key indicator I think that the RBA is looking at, of course, on top of inflation. It shows that the economy is still in a really strong place, and that kind of pushes out expectations of rate increases if the economy is still performing very well.
Okay, so when are we expecting the first rate cut to come?
This is something that's changed quite rapidly over the past few months. We just saw NAB just push back their call from February to May. Market expectations have pushed out to August. I think we're likely to see more major banks pushing out their calls from early next year out towards mid next year. And looking at both the RBA's forecast, the fundamental thing here is that the RBA's view is that the current level of interest rates isn't actually slowing the economy that much. And things like the labour force release we got this week kind of confirm that. So really that suggests that the RBA thinks conditions are not that restrictive, and so really it's going to be a while before we see relief on interest rates.
And even so, we talk about this first, elusive rate cut, but even then, it's not like we're going to see 10 rate cuts in a row. I mean, if we see a rate cut, we probably won't see too many when we do start seeing them, do you think?
Yeah, that's right. So like over the kind of medium term, the RBA is looking to get back to kind of its neutral estimate of rates, and that would suggest kind of 3 or 4 rate cuts in total.
Okay.
So yeah, that's big relief for anyone with a huge mortgage.
We'll take anything at this point.
But yeah, there's even, that's quite uncertain as well.
Does this have an impact on housing? I mean, just how sensitive will the market, do you think, the housing market be to even just the chatter around a first rate cut?
I think it will matter. I think there's a lot of people out there who, at current prices, really, really tough affordability conditions, are priced out of the market. So anything that increases their borrowing capacity and lowers mortgage repayments, I think will bring, at the margin, more buyers in, and those buyers that are there more confident to bid a bit stronger. So yeah, it will matter. It won't be like, it won't be a huge earth-shattering thing, but it gives people confidence too. I mean, just what we've seen this year is the fact that people are reasonably confident that rates aren't going to go higher means that people are willing to, undertake this big, decade-long decision of upgrading their home.
Paul, appreciate your time as always. Lots to talk about. Thanks for joining us on the show.
Thank you very much.